This is so unfair to the process and the fact that I haven't been shooting at all. I'm trying to tune some equipment because it's getting time to do that. So working on arrow flight is what we're doing. Different weight points, a couple different kinds of shafts. Wow, that one flew pretty good right off the bat. So, we'll see how this goes. Hickbilly Outdoors, DW Verts. It's that time of year. I need to get my stuff figured out because right now I'm not very figured out. Not worried about actually hitting anything, although I want to make sure my form's good. I'm trying to watch the way the arrow flies because it's so critical even with a compound bow, but I need good arrow flight. It's just, I'm not gonna be able to hunt unless it's good. Last year I wasn't real happy with the way my arrows were flying. They were decent, but they weren't great, and I'm looking for great. So far, those have actually flown really well. I'm not going to paper tune, I'm not going to bare shaft and all that cool stuff. Simply shooting the arrows the way I want to shoot them. I'm shooting arrows I built last year and arrows I built 12, 13 years ago. And I've shot 2 of each, 2 with 140 grain points and 2 with like 180s. I think there are 190s maybe. And trying to see if there's a difference. It's kind of amazing. Those have all seemed to fly about the same so far. So, you know, maybe it won't be as hard as I thought. Those arrows are just flying almost, to me, it looks perfect. Now, one of the cool parts about this technology that I can go back and look later. And it was amazing how bad I saw the arrows flying last year. That's what caught my attention. I wasn't seeing it with my visual, but I was seeing it through that camera. So I'm just stump shooting, picking out targets. I'm gonna go a little farther here. I want to see the arrow flight a little further out. Man, that looked good. And I missed maybe 3 inches high. That's at 20, over 20 yards, probably 25 yards, close to it. Nobody's counting. It's the same shaft for the lighter point. It did not fly as good that time. That's fine. Kicked up a little bit. I mean, there's all kinds of adjustments I can make. Brace height, knock height adjustments. Right now I'm shooting the bow the way I was last year when I quit. Truthfully, it's liking seems to be liking a heavy point better, which it should. I mean, spine wise, a heavy point makes the most sense. Wow, I'm shooting good too. That's kind of cool. Mostly shooting good. So let's start. I'm gonna practice a little bit and think about what I'm doing here. Well, it actually went really well. I always go into things like this with trepidation, and it's just not fair to you guys that watch this. Are serious deer hunters and serious archers, or especially serious traditional guys. I haven't done this enough. I went to all hot and heavy last year for the YouTube channel and hunted one time. Aches and pains and issues and regular life and deer hunting has just not been a priority. That's sad, I know. Because the deer hunting I miss way more than the deer killing. Of course, we also miss putting up our own deer meat. We haven't done that for, it'll be 8 years this year since I killed a white-tailed deer. So, not to mention I like to hunt other things. I picked up that bow one time this year for that. I did a video back in July, aerial target shooting, which was me trying to reclaim some of my youth that didn't happen. Still fun. That's what this whole thing's supposed to be about, is fun. But last year, I was shooting way more for form and accuracy than I was about the mechanics of arrow flight. Arrow flight is so much more critical with a stick bow than it is with a compound. A lot of it's because you're using your fingers. A release takes a lot of arrow flight issues out. So after watching some of my video stuff from last year, I see how bad some of those arrows was flying. I wasn't seeing that when I was practicing. Not really. I remember I changed some brace heights and things that helped it, but I didn't realize how bad it was. So when I did that video back there in July, the aerial targets, I could see how bad those arrows were flying. And guys, those arrows, those flu type arrows, stabilized an arrow really quick and they were flying bad. So I did some arrow work, a little tuning work before I ever came out here today. And what I've got is the shaft that I built for last year. I built a dozen of these, still have all 12 of them, unfortunately. It shows how little shooting I've done. They're spined pretty heavy because I'm shooting a Martin Savannah reflex deflex longbow, a modern style bow. I'm not cool enough to be shooting a self bow or something I made myself. It's 70 pounds. That means I'm pulling at 66 pounds or maybe 67. So I'm shooting a pretty heavy broadhead. I want to anyway. I think it's 190 pound, 990 grain ace. I believe 190, whatever. Maybe 185. Anyway, these ace blunts match it for weight. The other arrows I was shooting today, I was shooting another one of these with a 145 grain judo. I've weighted myself to match broadheads I used to shoot. The same thing on a couple older laminated maple shafts. Man, I built them things 15 years ago, I'll bet. At least 12 or 13 years ago. Last time I bow hunted would be 13 years this year. I mean, serious bow hunted. So they're laminated maple, a little bit lighter spine, and I shot them with the Ace heavy head, the hex head, and I shot them with another judo point, and the shafts from last year fly better. So I have a recurve on my shoot too, but I shot about 30, 35 shots right now. That's enough. I mean, I'm a bad, strong son of a buck, but you got to take breaks. So the whole point is I can't go out hunting an animal without having good arrow flight. I cannot try to harvest an animal and take an animal's life without giving it all I've got to make a perfect, clean, ethical shot. And that's my way of doing it. These are flying pretty good. I'm going to shoot a little bit every day. It's, I don't know if you can tell, it's mid-October. To get some color to the trees. Look at that. I helped my buddy hang a tree stand this week, and it kind of got me fired up. The smell of the woods is just something, well, y'all know. If you're watching these, you probably understand. Again, for me, it's way more about the hunting than the killing, although we really enjoy our venison. It's been too long. So last year I was all fired up at this time, and I hunted one evening with a bow, and I hunted one morning and evening with a firearm, and I could have shot deer. That video I've never done yet. I've got all that video compiled. I'm trying to find out how to make that work. If you're a deer killing fool, it's all about big antlers. It's not me. I've had all that. I'm done with that. Everybody's hunting bighorns. I've shot a few over the years. And I've also wasted, spent a lot of time looking for them, not getting them too. So I'm trying to get a little bit less serious about things as I get older. But I have to be serious enough to make this work, or I can't do it and enjoy it. And what I've shot so far, the very first shot, that arrow flew straight as an arrow. Go figure. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll talk at you later. God bless.